Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to do a little bit of a follow up. We're going to find out what's going on where i- up at a strike, sorry, up at a strike in Alabama. And we have somebody who has been there pretty much the entire time and who can clue us in. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Hayden Wright. My husband is on strike at Warrior Met Coal in Brookwood, Alabama. I'm the auxiliary president for the UMWA at two locals there at Warrior Met. That's locals 2245 and 2368. So we do a lot of work. So we're pretty much on the ground doing something several days a week.
And so this mine, it's a coal mine, but what kind of coal is it? And this way we can go ahead and head something off in the comments.
Yes, we don't mind any thermal coal. Thermal coal is what's used to produce energy. We only mine metallurgical coal, which is used to produce steel. So, in order to have coke that makes steel, you have to have this type of coal.
All right. And why are y'all on strike? What's going on?
We've been on strike since April 1st. So, we're into the seventh month of our strike, and we're on an unfair labor practices strike. So, we went out not for pay, but for safety reasons, safety concerns, benefits, time with our families. So, it's not just about pay for us, it's about holding the company accountable for not being able to schedule people to work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, to have some accountability there. They have a really brutal four strike and you're fired policy. That means if you're late, you get a strike, it counts against you. You're in the hospital and you can't give 24-hour notice, counts against you. We've had men whose wives have been in labor, been having miscarriages that were given strikes because they had to leave work early or they couldn't make it in. We've had people die near the mine sites because they were trying to speed to get to work and had an accident. So they don't accept doctors' excuses. They don't take into your account your family, your children, your personal health. That was one big thing that we want to see addressed in negotiations. Time off, like I said, there was no seventh day optional in this past contract. You could just be scheduled to work as many days and as many hours as they told you to. It also, in the last contract, which happened at the bankruptcy ruling, it took off things like your double time pay, your triple time pay for things like holidays. Our families get 3 holidays a year together under this contract. We were able to have Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. Those were the only physical holidays that they got to be home with their families. The rest of the holidays, they would give them a day to take during the week, which, when you think about it, when your family's already celebrated, you getting a day off during the week is you sitting at home by yourself while your kids and your families are at work or at school eating cold barbecue alone. So it's not really giving you a holiday, it's just giving you an off day. We want to be able to spend that time with our families.
So, this is about safety and standard of living more so than
Exactly.
wages.
Right.
So, what's been going on there? How's it looked? Kim filled us in a lot um, on what had been happening up to that point, but that was a month ago, uh, something like that.
We've had now 6 vehicular assaults on the picket lines from members of the company or scabs going in and crossing the pickets that have actually struck union members with their vehicles. One of our auxiliary members, Amy, was actually at a picket line. She was actually standing a few feet away from Cecil Roberts and was hit by a truck that tried to break through the line. So we've been dealing with that. And really, the company is not wanting to negotiate in good faith. The company keeps coming back and offering, well, we'll make these small improvements, but the one scabbing gets seniority over the union members. Well, that's a big no right
Yeah,
there.
that's a non-starter, right?
Yeah, that's just we don't need to talk anymore about it.
Mm.
And then the other thing they keep trying to slide in the contract is they only want to hire back who they think hasn't done anything wrong during the strike. And they don't want
So,
to. union to be able to fight for the jobs. So anybody that's actually been on a picket line, anybody that's been vocal and expressing what's going on, they don't want to hire you back.
Right. And if they do that well enough, I would imagine the contract really wouldn't mean anything because nobody'd complain.
Right.
So, all right. So, y'all are gearing up. Y'all are heading into the holidays. How is that looking? And how are y'all weathering the storm? How's the pantry looking and all that stuff?
It's getting more difficult. Like this is month 7. So things are getting a little bit tougher for everyone. We're still ready to be here. We're not ready to give this fight up until we win, and we will. The union will win. It's just a waiting game. The company negotiators have said numerous times that they don't think that the workers are worth anything, that we should actually take a cut, that they can just starve us out. So it's really only been through all the mutual aid that we've received and through the union that we have been able to hold on as long as we have. But we could really use some help still with the pantry. And with Christmas coming up, we are really pushing right now to make sure that every union child can have a visit from Santa. Right now, money for bills and things are tight. So we're trying to kind of take some of the stress from the holidays off of our union families by being able to provide Christmas for the kids.
Yeah. Now, when I started, I saw a link pop up on my screen. Is that the link that you put up there?
Yes, that's the link for we have a registry through Target,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of hard to figure out a way to do a registry for people to look at to be able to pick kind of what items they would like to purchase, because Amazon was a no go for us because they're union busters and hopefully they're gearing back up here in Bessemer. My husband's actually involved kind of with that too and this strike because he went there. And then Walmart's not necessarily union friendly either. So Target was kind of our way that we could put one together so everyone could kind of pick. Because to me, that's just a lot more personable to be able to see kind of what the kids had asked for and be able to actually choose your gift. And when you look, a lot of it that people are asking for are things like winter clothing and shoes. So it's not necessarily all toys. A lot of it's necessities that they just need right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so, do y'all have any idea on how long the strike's going to last? Or do y'all have any clue? Have you gotten any signs from management that they're even considering shifting positions?
They've been a little bit more willing to negotiate. Negotiations have lasted a little longer, but as far as do I think that we'll see a contract, a tentative agreement in the next couple of weeks? I really don't. I feel like we'll be out, through the first of the year. I really do. That's just how I feel. And even if we were to get a contract, say in November, the way the pay's done there, most of our families wouldn't get a check until the end of December. By the time
Right.
you got started back, hired back in, did your drug test, they hold your paycheck for 2 weeks for biweekly. So you would still be looking at the end of December, even if we saw something in
Mhm.
November to vote.
All right. Oh man. So realistically, you're talking about being on effectively, even if there was something soon, you're talking about almost a year
Right.
of strike.
Yes. And we do like 200 pantry bags a week for families, for groceries. We also do baby items every week, diapers, formula, baby food, baby wipes, because those items are expensive. And when you're struggling, having that extra thing of formula, having those diapers makes a huge difference. Even for our own families, like a lot of us, I have a 10-month-old and a 7-year-old. Most of the other ladies that are in the auxiliary with me have young kids as well. It's just it takes some of that pressure off that at least you have those items that you need to survive.
Right. Right. So what can people do to help?
We have a PayPal set up for the auxiliary. So any money donated to our PayPal account, which is UMWA Striking Miners Pantry. If you go there on PayPal, all of that goes to buy groceries for families. baby items, and hygiene products like toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, things like that you don't think about not having, but when you've been on strike for 7 months, sometimes you don't have the extra money to buy those things.
Right.
So, like with COVID going around, toothbrushes, I mean, something that simple you just don't think about. Hey, I've gotten sick and I need these, and I might not have the extra money for it right now.
Right.
So, and we also, if you're local, we actually, there at the hall where we do pantry pickup, we actually have clothing too. Like we had people donate racks, and we've been doing clothing drives so that people can come in and get clothing from infant to adult. Because we've had several adults come in that needed some items to wear for like job interviews because people are having to get part-time jobs to make it. The UMWA has been amazing. I mean, $350 a week strike pay is unheard of. I mean, that's fantastic. We couldn't ask for anything more than that. That's,
Mhm.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, if I know a lot of people don't think, well, $350, but for strike pay, that's actually extremely high.
Right.
But still, you're having to get something else to kind of make ends meet.
Oh yeah, after 7 months, I
Yeah.
mean, it
And then you're
doesn't
still
matter how
cooking.
much of a nest egg you had. Somebody's,
Right,
you know.
right. And they're still doing their picket duties because we still have picket lines going 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And for us, because the multiple sites, we don't have just like a front entrance and a back entrance that you have two pickets. We have 7 pickets to 10 pickets every day. And just to ride the mine sites, it's over 100 miles, when you go between all the different locations.
Right. How's the local community doing? Like, are they supportive? Are they like where does the town fall?
Mostly the town is supportive. And it's hard here in Alabama because when you think about the mines being in Brookwood, Alabama, a lot of people do live in Brookwood, but it's all these other surrounding areas that really depend on these mines as well, like West Blockton, Oak Grove. People drive all the way from places like Walker County to work here. So it's not just affecting one small chunk of our state, it's actually affecting a huge chunk of people. So the people have been mostly supportive. It is a little bit harder here because let's just be honest, we're in the South, we're in Alabama. It's a right to work state. Most people are more conservative, that they don't really understand unions if they haven't been in one.
Mhm.
So that's something you have to kind of explain to them. They
Right.
just don't understand what they are or why they're important. So combating that, the same way as combating like Alabama being right to work, which is one reason why the strike has lasted this long, because they're hiring in contractors, they're bringing in scabs from other states, a lot from West Virginia, Virginia, Kentucky are coming down here and going in, crossing a picket line. And when you're in a right to work state, you can't stop that.
Right. Right. I mean, the word in that situation, that basically you just have to wait for the company to get tired of paying the contractor pay
Right.
and it eating into their profits, because it undoubtedly is. And the reality is, if they've been sustaining that for 7 months, they can certainly afford to pay more because they've been doing it the whole time.
Exactly. And when you think about the private security they've hired, I know I
Yeah.
personally, when I go to Brookwood, get followed around by the guy that drives a Charger, drives a Dodge Charger as security, will follow me and my kids around when I go out to the picket line. I think he thinks it's intimidating, like when he rolls his window down and like gets his phone out. Personally, I think it's funny. I just wave and I'm like, I can record you too. But
Right.
for some people, I could see that would make them nervous. But
Right.
and they've put up now at Fort Scab, which is what we call the CMO, because they've started busing the scabs in now. So they all park at the CMO and then they get on a bus, a school bus, to drive out to the to the mine site to cross. So they've put up fencing there and put up
Hmm.
black tarp. I mean, you can see through the black tarp. I'm not really sure why they thought that would be effective or why they would spend money
Hmm.
doing that. They've put up cameras and microphones at all of our picket locations. So at all the entrances now, they have cameras and microphones. So if you have all that money to pay contractors, to pay private security, to somehow have state troopers out there escorting scab buses, which is a whole nother misuse of funding. And then to pay to have all of these cameras, videos, contractors, you could have paid for a contract. Met coal prices are over $400 a ton right now. They're running one mine site when they could be running two plus a prep plant. So they're losing a huge amount of money that they could be making because the market right now is high.
Right. And it realistically, it doesn't seem like it's going to be going down anytime soon either.
No.
Not with the demands that have been going around. Um, so at the end of this, what we have is an ongoing strike. It's been going on 7 months. It's looking to go on at least another two. Um, and there hasn't been any change really since the last time we had somebody on to talk about it, other than y'all are in a little bit more dire straits because it's some times past. Financially, it's a little bit rougher. We'll see what we can put together and see what this channel can do to help out. So I'll send you a message when we get off. Um, but I really appreciate you giving us the time and letting us know what's going on. Now, you mentioned Amazon. Are there any other strikes going on that right now that we need to know about?
Oh, well, it's Striketober. We have a lot of strikes going on right now. Um, Actually, a few weeks ago, nurses in Birmingham, walked out. They only stayed out for a few hours, but still, that's a huge step. In Alabama, when those are non-union nurses, took that step that they staged a walkout and said, "Hey, this isn't right. Our safety is important. Patient safety is important." So that was a big one. Um, I'm getting reports that Amazon has really started ramping back up on their union busting, holding some anti-union meetings. So they're gearing up, for a revote
Mm-hmm.
at Amazon and Bessemer right down the road. My husband actually took a part-time job at Amazon, so
Oh
he's
man.
talking with their union organizers there. But like he said, if I'm going to be off, if I'm on strike, where better to be than somewhere where I can help other workers? He was like,
Right. Yeah.
I can tell them what a union is.
Mhm.
So, and actually, it's not as dire as it is, and as long as it's really brought a lot of us close together. Like tonight, we're having a solidarity rally at Tanny Hill. We have them every Wednesday at 6. Unfortunately, I have COVID, so I couldn't be there.
Mm.
But we're even doing a trunk or treat tonight for the UMWA kids. So we pulled together and got decorations, decorated trunks, got candy, because we want the kids to have some good memories of this. Because from their point of view, they're loving it because they went from seeing their other parent, maybe 2 hours a day. Because by the time you work 12 hours, you come in, you eat, you're going to sleep, and you're exhausted. So for them, most of them, if you ask them about the strike, they're like, well, my dad got to come to my ball game. My dad got to take me
Right.
to karate because they've never had that before.
Right.
So things like the back to school bash that we did back in August, where we got backpacks and school supplies, things like tonight with the trunk or treat, just where we all came together and made soups. Like we made 20 crock pots of soups. All of us just made what we could. And then we took up and got what we could and bought candy for the kids. And it's just putting the time in to make those special memories because we're fighting for our families and for time with them. So we've been trying not to forget that during the strike that, hey, this is rough right now, but we're getting this time that we've never had before.
Right. And if everything goes well with the strike, you get more time off.
Right.
You might be able to enjoy this a little bit more often.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, I truly appreciate you stopping by, letting us know what's going on. We'll try to get the word out and try to help in any way that we can. Um, Go ahead and give them a way to find you and find out more information. Like give me your Twitter handle or whatever.
If you'll go to @Hayden Wright on Twitter, I have some pinned comments up at the top that kind of explain the strike, give where to donate for the auxiliary and for the toy drive. So you can find information there. Or if you don't have Twitter, you can email me. It's just writehayden@gmail.com.
And spell Hayden right for them because it's not a Y, right?
No, it's Hayden is HAEDENWRIGHT.
All righty. Okay, so that was just a little update. Thank y'all for stopping in and listening to what's going on. And this is, when we talk about unions and we talk about strikes, we talk about the one side of it. We talk about the picket line. Just remember, anytime you see one of those picket lines, that's that tip of the spear. You have the entire staff behind it, pushing, trying to get forward movement, and most times they never get any recognition at all. So anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.